Hello and welcome back to Cultist Simulator. Last time, quite a few things happened. But let's go ahead. Okay, so we're gonna set you off to the side for particular reasons. Let's see. Let's take care of things as I can. Seek in dreams, seek the mansis. The third mark can be achieved only when one has passed the stag door. One must pass the wood. One must rise to the white door. The stag door awaits the light bearer in the sight of Gibri. This is something we had already figured out for ourselves. So unfortunately, this in particular won't be helpful to us. But that does confirm that the books are telling you how. Or not just the books, but there's a lot of different things that are hinting at how to continue. It has something in common with the Latin and something else in common with the scratchings of maddened rats. Well, it's quite the way to describe a language. I wanted to look at... Where's mine? Oh, you're there. Right. Oh, yes. So. My dear, I've been wanting to talk to you. Sometimes I find scholars of the invisible arts. I'd like to offer you my support, a substantial contribution, and all you need to do someday is to introduce me to someone else who will end matters properly. She smiles benignly. I had passion to accept or reason to interrogate her further. I can't remember. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and accept it. Yes, that's exactly right. I'll come back tonight. And this is the desert inside. If I cannot consume the thoughts of a living mind, my need will turn in upon itself. So we're going to start sacrificing our reason to our ascension. Or not sacrificing, that's a little strong. Because it actually, like, would be awful if it simply ate it. Oh no! Oh no! Despair pads close at my heels, the world is leached of light. So I have somehow let that continue. That's highly unfortunate. And we also could... okay. I am also still on fast forward. Pause for the moment. Poppy's request. In the season of rags, Poppy will return. Ooh. In places it overlaps with languages I know. In other places, well, I can see why they call it the tongue of witches, but I can't understand it well enough now. So we now know an additional language. And if you're wondering why there's quite so much here, a tiny packet of tiny treasures, a gift from Poppy. She'll see me again in the season of rags for me to make the introduction I promised. So we get back our passion. We get a silver spinitra. We have not seen any spinitra yet. Initiates of the hidden world use spinitra to pay for services. They can easily be sold for more traditional funds. Silver spinach are more valuable and usually display scenes of debauchery on the other side. And we also get 10 funds. How nice of you, Poppy. We only need to make a small... we only need to introduce her to someone who will end matters properly for that. So we'll just set this off to the side. And with that, let's continue bringing people on into the fold. And we don't have anything to study other than... I'm avoiding studying that for a reason. Our work seems to have gone fine at Glover and Glover. Let's continue our work. And we got an introduction to histories. The 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Hirschelt describes divergent incidents in 5 major histories. We will immediately go ahead and study this. The prologue warns at length of the intrigues of one Julian Cosley, a former colleague who Hirschelt now describes darkly as a worm of worms. It seems Cosley advised Hirschelt early in the writing of the book, but Hirschelt later became suspicious. And with this very generous donation from Poppy, more books. Never enough books. I don't think I've read this for a moment. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, and the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. And let us the way to the stag door. In my dreams, I know the path to the stag door through the maze of the bounds. Gibbery will let me pass, but the path is always a puzzle. I will need reason. Okay, everything's really starting to take up a reason. And I am curious. Interesting. This is not enough. So what that tells me is that we need to upgrade these a little bit further. So a lot of things are now taking up our reason. The stag door is the Adept's Gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head Gibbery weeps to see me enter where it cannot. But it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. And wrapped in the keying, detailed accounts of secret channels and the ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyard in southern Europe and Egypt and in Anatolia. The author is a self-confessed ghoul and eater of corpses, claims to have witnessed I can't read the rest of that, unfortunately. So we will add more books to our library. And with that, never enough books. Never enough books. Okay, so entering the stack door. Let's go ahead and take all this. Go back to work. Hirschelt identifies blood, silver, design, and the worms as the central axis of each of the histories and claims that the so-called second history is the true one. So, this gives us an additional place to explore. We will immediately read Wrapped in the King. The dances drew from the tradition of the mysteries of the cults of Isis and of Cybele, but includes both symbolic and literal flayings, and the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his accounts with queasily sensuous descriptions of his own interrupted feasts. Compiled by J. Wigglesworth Jansen from Oral Traditions of Real Persia. So, as I said, more books. Never enough. Alright. So we don't have use of a subtle rapture at the moment. Let's visit the Ascent of Mind. Well, anger is implicit in every shape. This is a 10th order influence, a gathering knot of power and peril. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. Of the place my dreams took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far, the pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain I could employ to occult purposes, if I hurry. Now, we don't have use of a Furious Heir, mostly because we have been somewhat unlucky with, I don't believe we have any rights currently. Which is unfortunate. That should be corrected with books. Now, we aren't doing much at the moment. Additional followers. Adding to my library. A collection of essays. If the mind is a blade, then this is a whetstone. That is helpful, however, from what I know, we might as well hold on to those for the moment. Because we can get more. So we get Tristan, an acquaintance. Tristan dislikes distractions. Tristan gets things done. And please, we will continue to invite people into the fold. I am sort of trying to figure out how I want to organize this stuff over here as we get more and more. At these greater feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in the balance against the knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the officiant. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess my interest was not in the carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. Ew. And the waking chant. Who could hear this and remain unmoved? The sleeping, the dead, the earth, and the sky? Use this right with the Byzantine taint and a meteoric bullet or other resources of equal power to summon a percussion. And we do have this book. Burning of an Unburnt God. Jensen hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rights were the rights of smiths. And we get an additional collection of essays. How lovely. As I said, we're going to collect more. We have to collect them all. You see. I don't think that's right. Let us dream a little dream. Ooh, you need reason. Cool. I found something noteworthy. The War of the Rhodes, 1450 to 1580, the censored edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Rhodes, an event in a history other than our own, in detail, but numerous pages have been removed. And such as the book also, part of this has been redacted for me. Blacked out in an ominous something explains that Willis Ford has been excised. No. There we go. More books. Always more books. Never enough books. We must expand our library with our mind. Jensen ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described are of an eerie, sometimes grisly. Ha-ha! An ardent orison. When we watch fire, what are we watching for? When we find it, these are the words it will speak, a word that sanctifies the change that comes with the seared skin peels. Ooh, spoopy, but more importantly, rite of the crucible soul. This rite uses an instrument of power to set the blood afire. Fire is the lesion in the skin of the world. The assistant rarely survives unharmed. Now that is something to consider. Although I do kind of... Look at this art. Look at it! Beautiful art. We have our first rite, which if used properly, will be able to summon minions. Collection of poetry? Awesome. As I said, please Morland, give us more of your books. and continue to work away, work our life away at, Glover and Glover. Lump. A Forgotten Chronicle. We aren't necessarily in need of this. Let's go to the Painted River. A Forbidden Epic! Well, if we weren't in need of a Forgotten Chronicle, we definitely are not in need of Forbidden Epic. The attention of the hours is drawn to the bloodiest wars. Afterwards, the histories are braided like hair. There is a great chamber in the mansis through which a painted river flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from the memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly, there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. Now, how exactly that gives us a Forbidden Epic, I'm not too sure of. Excuse me. Now, we've been having some luck with the stag door. Let us continue. Come with me. Slee. Crag Slee, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. You might be able to recruit him as acquaintance, or as a you might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. Okay, so go ahead and take all those, and continue to look for more people. I will do this till we run out of bodies, obviously. Oh, I'm not studying anything at the moment. The Orchid Transfigurations, a 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Fludd, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. This is the original Latin. Somehow we have not managed to learn Latin. That's actually slightly strange. In this past, a score or more of longs were made. They brokered peace with the Forge of Days long enough to set England on a path of early conquest and eventual destruction. The Forge itself devoured the greatest among them. Now, Moreland, please give me more of your books, so I may digest them. It is done only done with books. Oh, we do have despair. Oh, we have second level despair too. Okay. A friendly visit from Poppy. This is the time, my dear. The Sun in Rag requires his conclusion. Will it be you, or do you have a friend? A suitable conclusion. What a loyal friend you have here. Do say goodbye now. Oh, Poppy. Please, just more books. No, don't send me off to Poppy. I don't know why he went with 18th century flower boy. So we don't really necessarily want Simple Rapture. Simple Knife? Another fairy pair. Of the place my dream took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far, the pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain I could employ to occult purposes if I hurry. Unfortunate. I don't think we'll actually be able to make use of that currently. Go off on your own, Inspector Wakefield. The royalty of England, according to Willis Ford, became the sovereigns of the leashed flame, destroying or transforming their enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to St. Spark. The alliance with the Forge begins to take its toll. The last few chapters are missing entirely. The furtive truth. And the 6 letters on necessity. Cosley's tone is urgent, as if he suspected he might have little time left. Now here's an interesting note. We have seen this name before. This is somebody who was in touch with Herschel. And and who Herschel noted, I believe, is being nervous. So that's an interesting connection to make, that we are now reading multiple people who we know that in real life have had connections with each other. An additional collections of essay. We're almost there with that. Please, give me more books! More books for my insatiable hunger to read! A suitable conclusion. My follower is gone. I remain. Popula Shell is seen here and there. She may have more to say to me. An amiable woman of property. She'd like your help with something. And a chilly atmosphere. A peculiar chill lingers in my room. Oh. Oh, Poppy. The Orchid Transfigurations Volume 2! We have both. Both now. Both. And we still don't know how to speak Latin. Fortunately, I could actually fix that. Okay, so this was supposed to be a patron. We do have a peculiar rumor. We don't have... We can make use of this. Let's continue looking for additional followers. So likely, or that definitely means that we no longer have any patrons that we can find. Even the sun can be divided, though it require the Forge of Days for its division. And we're out of books to read at the moment. Now we could try upgrading. But all we have is some erudition. Actually. Aha. Count Gottlob Jennings represents a continental confrontation of physicists and duelists. Or physicians. I think I made that same mistake before. If I need to learn Latin, here's one who will help, but I'll need to pay in spinitre, the currency of the hidden world. This will be sufficient. I'll listen carefully. So this will help us continue to consume our books. The first volume of Teresa Gallagher's examination of the parallels of the mystic dreams of artisans. I think we've already read like the fourth or the fourth version. So, do we want to just? Yeah, let's just continue going to Moorlands. Oh, whoops. I was meant to use the peculiar rumor. What? Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Well, that is an issue. However, a fixable one. So, in times of special crisis, I might visit a discreet pharmacist to purchase a tincture of opium and make my dreams sweet, but only in times of special crisis. I believe this counts as one of those. Skeleton songs. Poems of greedy delight composed of the possibly synonymous Umbrella Dusk, a rumored heiress turned madam turned poetress. So, yep. Hopefully this doesn't go bad. I'm gonna hold off on buying more books for the moment. We can study these. In Umbrella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Percival of the Red Cup. Okay. Okay, lots of stuff is going on all at once. So we have, Falcine? An acquaintance. Falcine has operated her establishment for almost 20 years. She has never employed an assistant. Her hands are terribly strong. Okay, so I'm gonna have to stop the recording here. So this one's gonna end early. See you guys in the next one.